Hey everyone, and welcome to the Hair Healer Podcast. I'm your host, Colleen the Hair Healer. I invite you to embark with me upon a journey of exchanging energy and creating conversations with my clients as we discuss our journeys through life. So come with me and let's see where today's episode takes us. Hey guys, it's your favorite host, the Hair Healer again. What? You got to hear me 3 times this week? I can't believe it either. I'm really excited to be able to bring all these to you and help bring you guys into a good mindset and help raise your vibe. I'm really happy again for everyone that is giving me these interviews. I know I said on Wednesday that I'd be doing 2 a week, but maybe 3 a week. This interview just totally dropped into my lap today. I'm really excited. And it is with Michael Gutenplan, or Magic Mike, or Michael G. Magic. He is a magician and a mentalist, well known, and he is so amazing. We talked so much good stuff on here, so much wisdom, so much mindset stuff to help get you through this time. And just in inner world of a magician. I've never really sat down and talked to a magician and a mentalist and figure out how they work, what got him into it, and where did this drive come from? Surprisingly, he's a 3rd generational male psychic. How often do you hear that? I'm sure they're out there, but we hear more about the female psychics. And I'm really excited about this interview. Again, he tells us about his special magician show, which is tonight. And also he talks a lot about when he thought life was full of failures, when he thought that it was a failure that he didn't make it in the movie industry and the theater industry. Turned out, right? It was just to bring him to where he is today as this amazing, magical magician. I'm really excited about this episode. Definitely check him out. If you have any questions or comments afterwards, please feel free to email me, thehairhealerpodcast@yahoo.com. Make sure to check me out at thehairhealer1111. And here we go. You know what? We're just going to jump right into this episode. Let's go talk to Michael in LA and let's raise your vibe. Hey everyone, it's Colleen and welcome back to the Hair Healer Podcast Quarantine Series that's right here in my little office. And I'm super excited. I hope you guys aren't sick of me yet. I know this is going to be the 3rd one this week released, but hopefully it's helping raise your vibe and keep you in a good mindset. Today, I'm super excited to have Michael Gutenplan on. Formerly Magic Michael, and he is so many things. So come and say hello and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everybody. Well, I'm still Magic Michael. I just, with the movie Magic Mike, had to give up claim to Magic Mike, and I didn't want people to come to my show and think they were getting something that they weren't going to get.
That's hilarious. When did you first realize, like, when that move, like, how long was it? Was it before the movie came out or after that you're like, oh, no?
I had started Magic Michael. I started magic in college. I loved magic. My grandfather did magic when I was a kid, family things, not professionally, but I love magic. I didn't start doing it. I didn't start learning sleight of hand and all that till college, till freshman year.
At Carnegie Mellon.
At Carnegie Mellon, I went into a magic shop on the south side of Pittsburgh called Cuckoo's Nest, which is unfortunately no longer there, and said, hey, I'm going into a party tonight. I was wondering if I can get a trick. My grandfather does this thing. And they kind of went like, well, yeah, you could just buy it. And I'm like, well, no. My grandfather made me think that this took years of mastering it. They kind of rolled their eyes. And said, no, you could just buy it. And I bought it and I was hooked. It was like that moment Harry Potter got the wand and everything changed. That's what it was like for me in that moment. And very quickly, my friends started calling me Magic Michael.
Really?
That's just instantly what my friends called me. Magic Mike, Magic Michael. Hey, Magic Michael, it's the magic guy, Magic Michael. And I did magic at Dave & Buster's at the waterfront in Pittsburgh.
I remember that. Wow.
And worked there for about 2-3 years, doing every Friday, Saturday night. And I was Magic Michael. I was the magic guy. And then moved to New York, did a show. And then this stupid movie came out. And all I thought was, should have bought the domain.
Should have bought the domain.
Could have sold it to Warner Brothers or whatever studio produced it. And, my name is not what defines me. It's the reaction. It's the relationship to the show and the people that come to see my show and experience the magic. So the true answer is I don't care what they call me as long as they have a great time and remember me, Michael.
I love that.
Michael Gutenplan, Magic Mike. We were talking earlier, Michael G. Maybe I change it. I just shorten it. At the end of the day, I don't care. It's not 1937, and I'm not trying to get a stage name like Judy Garland
Like,
or Rock Hudson.
or Rock.
We don't need those.
We don't.
Sincerity and honesty in who we are is so much more important than a cool name, I think.
I think so too.
That is my success is based on connections. It has never been based on what I do in terms of the trick.
I love
it's
that.
always been based on, we enjoyed Michael. Yeah, his magic was good and that was fun. But boy, he was great. I always say my character, if I have a character, is the mentality that if I wasn't on stage, I'd be sitting right next to you watching it. And what I mean by that is I am you heightened.
Wow.
So what I do is my market tends to be country clubs. I do something called the Members Only Show, themembersonlyshow.com.
Nice.
And what it is, it's a magic and mind reading show designed for private clubs and associations, Kiwanis clubs, all those kind of things. And my character comes out and he's wearing an Hermes belt and an Hermes tie and a custom suit. So
hot. I love it.
I'm one step, what can I say? I am one step up from the audience that's watching me most of the time. But I'm also the personality and how I am. It's you as Superman or woman. You look at me and you go, that's someone I want to hang out with.
I love that.
Because they're like me, but in this 1 hour time frame, slightly better. I don't mean better in a I'm better than you, better than he's dressed nicer, his hair is put together, he's presented, everything's crisp. That's what I mean by better. I'm not a better person.
No.
I'm just a more controlled in this moment Superman.
You feel when you're on stage, when you're in that moment, when you're totally together, have it all together, you feel like Superman. Like, is that when you feel kind of your most like purest self, your happiest self? What do you feel?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. It goes so quickly.
Well, we're planting a seed for future.
Well, it's an organism that's moving. So as soon as when I go on stage or I do one of these new Zoom shows for my clients, as soon as the show starts, the world stops. So the joke is I've done shows sick. I've done shows with the flu. I've done shows with stomach aches. And as soon as you start that show, everything stops.
Yeah.
I don't feel pain. You just do it. And then as soon as it's over, you're like, good night, everybody. Pass out or whatever you got to do. But there is I am at my best as a human when I'm doing my show.
I love that.
I'm my funniest. The show is a psychic entertainment show, so I'm doing mind reading.
I know. I have a lot of questions for you.
And it's presented as real. I mean, most of it is based on real skill sets or real experiences or real intuition. So when I'm doing that show, when action is called, in essence, or the curtain goes up, I am at my best. I am at my happiest, and everything's heightened. And I get really tired before a show. Sometimes to the point where I can't stand up. I just have to lie down. I get consumption or something. And
before a show?
Before a show. And I get really tired and really weird. I get really quiet. And I have that mentality of like, oh my God, I'm getting sick. And what it is, it's my body knowing what's about to happen. I give 100% at every show. So knowing that, my body goes, okay, I'm going to conserve every ounce of energy before the show. And sometimes when I don't get tired and when I don't have those feelings before a show, it's not a good show.
Interesting.
My body I lose it halfway through and I'm like, oh, I should have rested. I never heard of anybody else doing that. And then I heard Robin Williams. I heard an interview where he talked about before the show, what are you doing? He goes, I sit in the corner and I'm really quiet and pensive and people think I'm moody or not nice because I'm not talking to them. But the truth is, I just conserving that energy. My body is getting ready to perform.
Wow.
And it's all those kind of weird things that, because it's not a theatrical piece. I'm not doing someone else's material. I am doing it's scripted. There's a script that I follow, but it's very rarely within the lines of the script. That's a path, and I veer off the path quite often. So I know what I'm going to do show wise, but how it goes and what it's going to say, who knows where it's going to go? That's the joy of having a live audience that I interact with.
Do you have any? What would be your story of like the big? Because I like to talk about both, like when we mess up and when's the best. So do you have a story of like, holy crap, that was like the worst ever, and I messed up, and then you just laugh now?
I mess up at every show, and it's the only way I get better.
I love that.
Is I record every show, and I go, okay, well, why didn't this work? But I was hired to perform on a cruise ship. It was a private cruise. It was invited guests only on this cruise ship. And I was the entertainment for 5 nights. Every night was a different show for these 80 people on this cruise ship. And it was a very luxurious and wonderful experience for me to partake in. But the people there were wonderful. I mean, they're not going to listen to this. I can say it honestly. They were great. And the very first show, I have a finale where every show is a little bit different, but basically the audience comes in, writes the name of an animal on a piece of paper. All those pieces of paper are mixed, and then someone picks out 5 of them. And I've predicted those animals in various ways. Well,
can you tell us how? Your tricks?
No, get out of here. Well, let me explain. For some reason, the entire show was set up except for this last piece.
Wow.
And I get up there and I go, okay, and now we're going to, and I literally had nothing on me for that final effect. So I said, excuse me. And I have a video of this. I literally ran back to my stateroom, threw everything out of my boxes for the next one. We said, where the hell is it? And they could hear me on the microphone.
Oh my God.
And I run back into, okay, we can continue, folks. I need someone to pay. It wasn't even a mistake. It was just not set up. Like, I don't know what I was thinking, because I screw up at every show. I've had that last thing. Sometimes the prediction that I make just isn't right. That's life.
That's just life.
This was not set up. And
it was the first night, the first show?
It was the very first night, very first night. Now, the other side of that is I am a professional. If I see the joy of live events and the joy of what I'm doing is you have no clue what's going on. You have no clue what's next. So when something doesn't work, and another example is I predict lottery numbers in my show.
Basically, oh, you do?
6 people in my show give me numbers between 1 and 70. And I have a lottery ticket that hopefully matches those numbers. It may not win the lottery. Clearly, I haven't won the lottery. But it is, in essence, you are getting the same numbers as what is chosen. And there's psychological reasons that works. I know what people will pick. I can't tell what a machine will pick. Sometimes I'm wrong.
Can you get into a little bit of that? How you figured out what people will pick psychologically?
Yeah. So basically, and it works 90% of the time, and I'm okay with that, because if it doesn't work, I just move on. Going back to what I was saying before, is you don't know what's happening, so I could just go, okay, well that didn't work. Moving on, and you go, well that's weird. Oh, okay. The way it works is humans think in a certain way. So if I can say, pick a number between 1 and 70.
Me? You're just saying it.
Pick a number between 1 and 70.
Okay, in my head?
No, out loud.
Okay, 11.
11 is one of the most common numbers picked.
Really?
My grandfather's lucky number happens to be 11. He was born on the 11th of November, or 12th of November, but 11 is his lucky number. We tend to think the same. 7 is a popular number. 37 is a popular number. 2 odd numbers.
23?
68. 23 is a very popular
I hear that all
number.
The time for some reason, people and
17 is my lucky number. That's a popular one. I also know that people won't pick, people will always pick 69. There's always somebody in the show that goes, ooh, 69. So I can go to the store and buy a lottery ticket and say, here I think are the numbers. Now, if I get 5 out of the 6, that's a pretty good freaking trick.
That's good.
I got 5 out of 6 numbers of the lottery. But when you get 6 out of 6, because I'm also, I'm picking, The secret subtlety, not to let my audience in, is I'm watching you the whole show. This comes towards the end. And I'm watching your reactions. I'm watching how you react. And before this, I do a few things that I can gauge how people are thinking. I do a couple of experiments without them kind of realizing it. Okay, who thinks in line with most people? Who has an outside view? So I can pick on the people that I think, and again, sometimes I'm wrong, are going to think like I want them to think. So if I knew I wanted someone to pick like 11, I'm looking at you and I'm saying, this is someone who I think will pick number 11. That's my psychic instinct.
I was just going to say that. Wow, that's your intuition. You're really...
and that's the reality of the show. There are other parts of the show where it's a trick. And I'm hoping that I don't need the trick. I'm hoping that my intuition is correct. But if it doesn't work, I always have the backup.
Yeah.
My joke is everything I do is real, but you're not paying me to get it wrong.
I like that. Now, my next question is, did this intuition, were you always born with it and you always practiced it, or did you really start to hone in and notice it more when you began magic?
Yeah. So I'm a third generation psychic. My father and my grandfather both at least.
And all males. That's amazing.
All males.
You don't hear that often.
My grandfather's uncle won the Irish sweepstakes in the 1920s, bringing the whole family to America. And
wait. He won the sweepstakes and brought the whole family to America?
Yep. 90% of us, quite a few. And so my family has a history of instinct and trusting ourselves and kind of going with those instincts. My grandfather truly believes in ESP, believes in psychic phenomena, investigated the Roswell landing, and
that's cool.
Wacky, but he believes in all this. And my father trusts his instincts. And when I started doing magic, my relationship with my grandfather was, I want to get into magic. And about 5-6 years ago, I'd been doing mind reading tricks, what we call mental magic, meaning it looks like mind reading, it looks like psychic stuff, but it's a trick. There's a secret behind it. And what I realized is I didn't need the trick to get it to work. And I called my grandfather one day. I live in Los Angeles. I was by Runyon Canyon. I called my grandfather. I gotta tell you, I'm doing all these mind reading tricks, and I don't need the trick. It just works. And he goes, well, I'm psychic. And I went like, oh my God, my grandfather's crazy. He's telling me that he's psychic. No, I'm really psychic. And I hang up and I call my father and I'm like, all right, Poppy's opposite. Poppy thinks he's psychic. Father, without missing a beat, my father goes, well, yeah, I am too.
And your father had never said that?
No, who brings that up in conversation? And my father explained, it's not that we talk to the dead. It's not that they, read crystal balls. They just trust their instinct. They have ESP, extrasensory perception. They trust themselves to a point where it almost looks like a miracle. It almost looks like a trick. And it's not guaranteed. If it works every time, it's a trick.
Wow.
And there are parts of my show that are tricks. But if it doesn't work every time, if it is a little bit of a gamble, if it is a little bit of a risk, then it's real. And isn't that fun? Isn't it fun to have a show? I do an element in my show that just doesn't work sometimes. Not the lottery, something else. And for me, I've done this, and magicians go, "Oh, I can't believe you did that. Oh, it didn't work." I go, "Who cares? All right, it didn't work. Moving on. Let's try something that will." If a card trick doesn't work, that's stupid. But if a mind reading experiment doesn't work, oh, how interesting. He got close. Oh, how interesting. It didn't work. And that almost makes it more incredible, more unbelievable that I was able to try it or get close or do something.
What was, as of now, what's been the most, not trick, but mind reading as you're gaining your intuition that blew your mind? Like, holy crap, how did that happen? Or how did I see or hear that or say it?
The thing that blows my mind is not understanding someone's thoughts or having a connection, because it works with connection. We've all experienced looking at someone and knowing what they're thinking. We've all experienced staring at or having a connection. And I don't mean like, oh, that's funny. I mean word for word, knowing exactly what someone is going to say or do.
Yeah.
the two things that blow my mind are when I've had not deja vu, but I've been in this place experiencing this, usually in a dream, where it's not like, oh, I feel like I've been here before, but oh, I know what's going to happen next. And it's actually happened a few times. It's happened very recently with this whole online thing where I've had dreams and then it was an email or it was a show. And I just kind of had a moment where I went, oh my God, I had a dream about this like 3-4 years ago. And I have vivid dreams, mostly because of the Ambien. And
do you write them when you wake up? Do you write down your dreams?
No,
me either. I want to, but I don't.
I have memory of most things. But I was doing a show. I got called in for a PTA fundraiser to do a show. Now, my show is family friendly. There's no foul language or anything, but it is designed to entertain adults. It is a show for adults that kids enjoy. It is not a kid's show that adults enjoy. And I show up and I set up all my mind reading stuff. Your viewer listening people can't see, but I have all my stuff behind me. It's a big show. There's, when I show up, I'm putting on a theatrical performance. There's stands. There's all this stuff that makes it look like a big show. And I go. It's in a elementary school. We call it the gymnatorium. It's like the cafeteria, auditorium, gym, depending on what time of day it is. And I go on the stage and I set up all my stuff. And I kind of do my thing and I walk out and it is like 200 kindergartners.
Oh my God.
and in the back of the room are the parents talking and drinking their soda and whatnot. And I just kind of pause for a second and I go, well, this is going to be awkward because the show's actually for the adults. So everybody please come forward. And I took control of the situation. Yeah. And I don't know what happened, but I stopped talking. And I just had a vivid, image of, I go, oh my God, I've been here. I had a dream about this so many years ago, and I'm experiencing it right now. And to the point where I knew exactly what was going to happen next. I mean, there was no mystery, no wonder as to was this real or not. I knew exactly what was about to happen, and I was about to experience it. And that was kind of the moment where I was like, this is the most incredible thing. This might all be real.
Wow. How did that show go?
A few times.
How did it go, that show?
It went great. They actually hired me for something else that was already booked.
Wait, can I ask a thought that just came to me, though? Because I don't know what you feel about this, but I feel like a lot of children are born with extreme, they have that pure connection.
I'm going to stop you.
You know where I'm going with, don't you?
We are taught, everybody has psychic intuition. Mm-hmm. Everybody has ESP or whatever you want to call it. We are told to ignore it. We are told not to trust ourselves, women more than men.
Yeah.
Stop listening to that voice in your head. Stop listening to your gut instinct. Go with reason. Go with what I tell you as the adult. And after being told no enough, you listen. You're conditioned. It took me a very long time to release that conditioning. It took me a very long time to learn to retrust my instincts and my intuition after being told for so long not to. I failed most of my life. When I was in high school, I ran for student body president senior year. I lost. I lost to a junior out of all people. Now, he happened to probably be better than I would have been, but I lost.
Do you remember how that feels? Holding on?
Well, I was searching for the approval of others. I worked in television, and I couldn't sell a show. I couldn't get anything made because I was saying to my boss, please like what I created. Please like this. Tell me I'm good.
Wow.
I was searching for approval. I was trying to not trust my instincts, but base my actions on the instincts and reactions of others. And when I left the world of television, and I started creating this show, I didn't have other people to give me approval. I had to show up for that first show with only my instinct and my gut. I had to reteach myself to trust myself. And the reason my show is successful is because I didn't ask people for support and approval. I trusted my instinct. I was forced to re-trust myself. I was forced to listen to that gut and say, every magician likes this trick, but I don't. I'm not going to do it. or nobody likes this, but I think it's actually pretty good. And sometimes I'm wrong, and the audience lets me know very quickly
Do
when
they?
it doesn't work. Yeah, they just sit there and roll their eyes, and that's out of the show. And one or I give it a second shot, but you can't force a square into a circle, and at a certain point you just have to stop. But all of that success that I'm experiencing now is based on trusting myself, and that took time. And if we stop telling kids to not go with their guts, if we stop telling people, listen to me because I'm richer, whiter, mailer, whatever it is, I keep politics out of my show.
Yeah.
And I don't put politics on anything that I post social media or professional. But what we are seeing in politics right now is the situation of I am richer than you, therefore I am smarter than you.
I know, and it's usually the opposite.
And there is a delightful hubris that comes with wealth, because we as people look at a wealthy person and go, well, they got it somehow, they must be smart. And there's a little bit of truth to that. Most people who run a business have some sort of instinct, but we tend to think the same, psychology and all that. When we assign intelligence based on success, we are duped. We, the people that assign that. All of those kind of assumptions, going back to how do I do what I do?
Yeah.
I take our assumptions of people. I take our assumptions of how people think and act and weaponize it and use it against them, not in a nefarious way, but in a theatrical way.
In an entertaining way.
In an entertaining way. It's the same exact thing that people in politics do to get your vote. They take your assumptions, they take your fears and your joys and all that stuff, and they weaponize it to get your vote. I do it to entertain you.
Well, it's very similar in the hair world, right? Psychologically in hair, they sit down, so I have to watch the way they move, they talk, the things they say between their words to kind of figure out, weaponize in a good way how I can give them the best experience, catered to them, and just going with their energy.
The trick to that is not letting people know that they are more like other people than not. The reason you're able to do that in the hair world is because you've had the experience of doing it with other people.
Yeah.
Now, each person is unique. Each person's likes or dislikes are unique to them. Yeah. But going along with that, there are maybe 15 hairstyles that one person, your answer is we can do anything. But the truth behind that answer is, well, there's really only like 7 to 10 things that we're really going to do.
And maybe even cut that in half. It depends on what you're going to like. If you're,
there are in theater, there are millions and millions of TV shows, theater, plays, comedy. There's only, 5 or 7 storylines. New girl comes to town, new girl leaves town. There's only 5 or 7 storylines. But we tend to think there's millions to choose from. So in life, the way I do what I do is I say, everybody is different. Everybody thinks their own way. The truth is, no, you're not. If I ask you to pick a number between 1 and 10, 80% of the people pick 7.
Wow.
And if I'm observant, if I'm reading body language and seeing how people think, and based on what I can tell, I know who's going to pick 7. I know that's what you're paying me for. And I love doing this. I like doing it for rooms of 5 people, and I like doing it for rooms of 5,000 because the experience is the same. In a room of 5 people, you're actually going to get more different answers than in a room of 5,000. In a room of 5 people, you may only get 1 or 2 people that think the same. In a room of 5,000, those percentages even out.
Wow. So if you, from looking at me, would you have guessed that I would have said 11? I have 11 tattooed on me. If you saw that, you probably would have.
Based on that, I would have. I think that it takes a bit of time to read someone when it comes to knowing what they'll say.
Yeah.
I can give you a cold reading and look at you and tell you things about yourself that your response would be, how the hell did you know that?
Well, if anything comes to you, feel free.
I'm looking at you with your hair color, your lipstick, your smile, the way your eyebrows are made. I'm just looking at the face here. You have a nose ring. So there's quite a bit about you that I can go, okay, here's something about this person. If I take it, I mean, the people listening can't see it, but you have a tie-dye-ish blue background behind you. You have things hanging behind you. Like, I can use all of that. And now I just saw your tattoos. Every single thing about you gives me a hint and a clue as to who you are. And just like anything, when you watch a juggler juggle, for the first time, you're going, oh my God, he almost dropped it. This is so scary. This is so amazing, blah, blah, blah. Well, the juggler is doing all of that to keep it entertaining for you. They do this every day. This is their job. So what is amazing and scary and spontaneous for you is every day for them. So when I do a reading of you, you assume this is the first time I'm reading. Well, no, there is another person in the world like you. I know who you are, maybe not the deep down particulars. That's part of my skill set. But I know that there are people that when they have this color behind them, or they wear this color lipstick, or they have a nose ring like this, or they have these tattoos, this tends to be who they are. Tends to be. Not
tends to be. They have trouble in relationships. They can't.
Exactly.
You can't get married, can't settle down. Free spirit.
But what makes it incredible for you is your assumption of how could you have known that I am unique.
Wow.
And it's what forces me to treat everybody the same, is realizing that black, white, brown, whatever color you are, no matter sexual orientation, no matter what religion you are, we are so much more alike than different. And that makes me live my life a little bit more healthy in a mental state, but it also allows me to trick people easier because so few people accept that and realize that.
I love that. And that's actually one of the purposes of this show. I think I told you when I was texting you, was I sat down with my clients and they gave me like a glimpse into their world, their inner healing journey. And it was basically to show everyone that we're all kind of the same. Even we may look different or be different or act different, but we all have kind of similar struggles and vice versa, and to hope to bring connection. Now, during this time, what's your theory, like spiritually, energetically, of everything that's happening now? Like, I think this is to shift and totally change the whole world.
I keep changing the ear pods I'm using this time.
You're actually making me laugh, to be honest with you. You're funny. You remind me of me too, in a way, just kind of all over.
I am not trusting my instincts with these ear pods. They keep falling out of my head. I spent all this money on them. I am a universalist, which means that I believe that the universe. I'm a narcissist universalist.
What's that?
Universe. I believe that the universe gives me signs and gives intentions towards me, in addition to the world. It is our job as individuals to listen to those signs and react to them as we feel appropriate. But it's our job to see the signs and hear them and all that. I am actually taking advantage of this crisis in the world. During the 1930s, during the height of the Depression, the most successful entertainers outside of Hollywood, outside of the movies, were magicians and mind readers.
Wow.
It's a deeply personal, relatable experience that can be performed for multiple people at a time. And as opposed to a passive experience, you're experiencing it live and in person. And so even though you may not be my volunteer, you are still amazed. And as soon as this happened, I was a little resistant on the Zoom virtual show. But as soon as I saw that this was going to be a long process,
the long haul,
I got to work right away. And I have my own theories on how to make it accessible to an audience. And I actually I have a light and I have my full show. I have music and sound and a microphone, but I actually prefer to keep it a little ad hoc. I prefer to keep it a little bit spontaneous. I don't want something that's so polished. For two reasons. First, I want my audience to know that this is not the real show.
Yeah.
As much as they enjoyed this, hire me for a live performance later in the year or next year, because it's even better. But B, I'm a big fan of setting the bar so low that I can just hurtle right over it. I want.
That's amazing.
You
Are you
know,
a Gemini or a Virgo?
I'm an Aries. I'm an Aries Gemini rising.
Okay, so I knew Gemini. So Gemini rising is what I saw right away. Just I'm a Gemini and a Virgo rising and a Virgo moon. The Virgo though was the way you analytically like break everything down, but that's the Gemini. But I saw Gemini right away. I saw me and you.
And my Aries is keeping control of everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's in haircutting, the old joke is when you walk into a barber shop, who cuts your hair? The guy with the worst haircut, because it means he's cutting everybody else's
It's true.
hair. Right?
Oh my God, so true.
My shtick with the magic and the mind reading is, I come with a lot of stuff. I have a big show. I'm actually doing a lecture tomorrow morning about what for the Psychic Entertainers Association called The Really Big Show, which is most mentalists, most mind readers show up with a suitcase or a briefcase and do what's called pack small, play big. Look at how little I pack. Look at how big my show is. And I go, yeah, no. I look at how big my show is. I have 2 huge cases, 2 huge Pelican cases and a cart, and I travel, and it's a whole thing, and I fly with this crap. And when you watch this show behind me, you can explain to your viewers. I mean, I have a whiteboard with all these colors on it. I have stands. I have music. Well, why do I do that? Well, it has a homemade feel to it. It's not so professional that you think you're watching a Broadway show. It's not a set piece. But at the same time, that's a lot of stuff. I can't wait to see where this goes. And I want to set the bar low. It's a homemade piece. And I want to hurtle over it with, boy, that looks really exciting. I can't wait to see what they do. And then I oversell. I over-deliver on my promises always. The universe, going back to where this started, presents signs. And we have to interpret our own signs. And the narcissist side is, this is all happening so I can be successful.
I mean, I've been thinking that too, because I've been putting so much work into it. Absolutely.
The universe, the non-narcissist side, the non-personal side is, we are in this together, and your place.
Yeah, that's more I'm thinking.
So your narcissist thing is, oh my God, this is my opportunity to succeed and shine. And I was looking, you have over almost 3,000 downloads. That's incredible for anybody with what's out there right now.
Thank you.
So that's the narcissist side. Look at how successful I am becoming. The universe side is, I am giving something to the world that is wanted and needed. And I read the sign from the universe. I said, that. Oh, this is for me. But as soon as we get out of the I, the ego, whatever you want to call it, you become part of that greater good.
Yes.
You can't become part of that greater good unless you initially see it for yourself. The narcissist side makes you better. Oh, this was for me. This is a sign for me from the universe. Well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that the universe would give you a sign right now. But maybe it's not so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Maybe we just need to trust ourselves and listen and hone our own psychic ability.
Yeah, I think thinking that it doesn't, though, then could go into playing not believing in yourself that you would deserve a sign, right? Individually.
We don't deserve a sign. Having psychic intuition doesn't go against religion.
No.
Doesn't go against common sense.
No.
I think sometimes we call it something that causes an eyebrow to raise or whatever you want to say, causes. But our goal, our job in life is to be the best us possible.
Yep. 100%.
Okay? And when you find your career or whatever your career of the moment is, whether it's being a student, a homemaker, a doctor, a janitor, whatever, your job, your purpose in life is to be the best version of you, doing what you're doing in the moment. That is not a selfish thing. That is your purpose in the world in that moment.
Yeah.
It may not be your purpose in the universe for all time, but in that very moment, your purpose is to be the best you possible. That goes to being the best partner in your relationship. That's your job at that moment, being the best parent or brother or sister or child. And we fail more often than we succeed in those things.
Yeah.
We fail at being the best we can be. But it shouldn't stop you from trying to be the best you can be.
100%.
That failure, you asked earlier, what's the failure? I've never had a failure. I've had things go wrong. But every time something goes wrong, it becomes a better part of my show.
Yeah.
I have never forgotten to set up my last prediction.
Ever?
I have never. No, when the lottery doesn't work, I have a backup now.
That's
Sometimes
good.
it doesn't work. Well, like I said, everything I'm doing is real, but you're not paying me to get it wrong. So I need the trick to make it work sometimes. Well, lesson learned, have it ready. Lesson learned, go through. Every show I forget something on my body. I have a beautiful suit with all these pockets, and I'm always in the middle of the show going, "Oh, damn it, forgot to put that in my pocket."
That's your Gemini rising.
Yeah, and it happens in every show, but it's never the same thing. And at a certain point, I've been doing this show for 4 years. At a certain point, I'll get it right. And I have two full-hour shows, and now I have a third 45-minute show that I'm doing live via Zoom for families, for organizations, for groups of people. And what a delightful, talk about gift and universe and use my talents. My world is, I'll tell you what I'm doing. So I do the members only show, which is a show that I designed for country clubs, associations, organizations, and corporate clients. And I fly in and I set up and I do an hour of magic and then an hour of mind reading after dinner. And it's been phenomenally successful, thankfully. And then and I have 2 versions of that show, so I do repeat them. And then when all of this started, a phenomenal magician who I think is great, who also works in this club world, is Denny Corbin, based out of Scranton, Pennsylvania. And we were chatting, and he goes, I'm doing these online shows. And we talked about what makes him successful. And part of what makes him successful is that he created a real show. He's not phoning it in. He's not, he has the lights and the setup, and he has 2 cameras. And I'm going, well, that's not my personality. That's not my shtick. I'm going to do 1 camera and I'm going to talk to the audience. But we were on the same page of, if you're going to be hired to do an online show, you're going to give them a show. You're not going to do a couple of tricks to the camera and say, have a good day. You're going to interact. You're going to do a show. You're going to make people appreciate that they gave up their time, even if they're sitting home doing nothing for this. So what I decided to do is offer my country club show, the members only show, 2 country clubs virtually. And I created a whole new show using interactive elements, something that if you're watching it at home, you can participate. Even if I'm not talking directly to you, you will experience the magic. So I put that together. It's slightly shorter than my normal show. It's 45 minutes. And I started getting emails and phone calls from really my mother saying, well, all my friends want to watch. Can we come to another show? Well, this club manager wants to watch because he doesn't understand how it works or doesn't know if it will work. Can he watch or she watch? And what I realized was the universe setting it up. It is irresponsible of me not to offer this to everyone. But if your organization, if your club, if your company is paying for the show, I'm not going to put other people in your show. That's irresponsible of me. So I am doing a friends and family magic and mind reading show tomorrow, Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. It's 1 show. It's live.
And where can everyone find you?
So it's going to stream on Facebook Live. It's facebook.com/themagicmentalist. facebook.com/themagicmentalist/live. Now, if you want to just watch the show, you don't want to participate, go on Facebook. Watch it live, kind of put it in the background. If you actually want to participate, if you want to be on screen, it's a Zoom show. The link to the Zoom show is, I'll send it to you and it will be in the notes of this show. But I have no clue. I mean, those things are ridiculous. But basically you click on, I can have up to 1,000 people join the Zoom show.
Wow.
And the way we interact with people is I have a television screen right to the right of me that shows 50 viewers at a time or 48 viewers at a time. And I can zoom, but I don't touch that. I actually have someone else controlling at a different location, controlling the technology of Zoom. And they will at times select random people to pop up on the screen. So from 1,000, just like a live show. At the end of the day, only a few people are going to be able to volunteer and be on the screen with me. But everybody's still a part of it. Everybody, I'll be watching. Oh, Janice just took a drink of wine. All right, Janice, calm down.
How long is it? An hour?
It's 45 minutes.
Cool.
My live show is an hour, and that leaves them wanting more. I felt for the online show, 45 minutes felt like the right amount of time to leave people wanting more. I don't know why. That's just what works for me. And it's fun. It's, there's a mix of magic. There's a mix of, it starts with magic. It moves into the mind reading and psychic predictions. There's a finale.
So do you do psychic predictions about someone's life? Like they come on and say, hey, I have a question. And is that what kind you do?
So that's called a question and answer act. I don't do that in the show because even though I wanted it to be interactive, I needed to make sure that it was interactive for everyone. So if you're my assistant, again, the person at home should still feel like they are being entertained personally. That is very impressive and it's amazing in a live environment. It wouldn't work for this right now.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I also don't want this show to be so personal that people get nervous when personal information is revealed, especially for a wide audience like I could possibly have at one of these shows. So I try to keep it fun. I try to keep it light for the purpose of Zoom and safety and all that kind of, secure cybersecurity. I'm completely in control. We're not letting random people take the spotlight or turn off their microphone. We, after a couple of shows now, have it almost in control. Something goes wrong technologically at every show, whether the camera stalls or whatnot. But I'd say we're like 95% good at it at this point. And this is not my show. This is not okay. We've seen Michael. We never have to hire him again. This was fun. This was really entertaining. What a treat to experience this. I can't wait to see his live show. This is not going to change your life in terms of a magical experience like my live show does. Yeah. This is going to make you walk away and go, boy, that was fun. I needed that.
And have like a good hour. People need these hours.
Someone sent me an email and I thought this described it the best. They said, thank you so much for creating something different when everything feels the same.
Wow. That's deep. Wow. That probably really.
And I went like, that's kind of neat because we have TV, we have entertainment options, but when something is live in the moment, it feels special. It is different, and
we need it. Now, do you plan on doing psychic predictions? Like, do you ever see that? Like, do you ever want to go in that direction, or just what's your direction of where you're?
So, I have done readings, palm readings, crystal readings. I've done them on entertainment level, so people hire me for a party, and it's always, nothing's ever bad. It's always honest. It's always honest, but it's I don't prognosticate death or anything. I keep everything positive. I keep it fun. I am what's called a psychic entertainer. So even though what I'm doing is real, and even though what I'm presenting it as real, at the end of the day, it is for entertainment purposes. So I am not a street corner psychic. I am not telling you what job to take or
how to heal your problems, how to heal your life. You're here to bring fun.
I'm here to have a good time and make you smile. When I've done readings at parties, they're fun. They're, oh my God. I want my reaction to be, how did you know that? Not, oh my God, thank you. You changed my life. I want people to be amazed as opposed to, and amazed and inspired as opposed to calling me for the important decisions. My job is to empower you to make those decisions yourself.
Yes, I love that. Now we're getting near the end of our show, about 10 minutes. And this has been so good, but these questions can take a little bit. So that's why I like to start asking them before, because they're life
pineapple.
questions.
I know you were going to ask about my safe word, pineapple. No.
You're funny. Do you ever do hypnosis? Have you ever done that? I've never been put under.
Hypnosis is real.
Yes,
It
I
is
always,
not a. It's
okay.
not there. It's not a trick. It's something people experience. Basically, it's allowing yourself to uh, be open to suggestion in a subconscious way without resistance. I do not do it in my show. I experimented with it a few years ago. In my show is always changing. I'm always changing the A and the B show, which is not material wise. It's just I have an A show and I have a B show. And if I do a repeat show, the B show, it's not B material. It's just one and two. I experimented with hypnosis earlier on in my show, and it's fun. It's people laugh and it's having a good time. I realized it had an unintended consequence, and that is when I do hypnosis, and it happens, I put it in kind of the middle of my show. In essence, we were laughing at someone's expense.
Interesting.
We were laughing at what someone was doing, and what I noticed is, as soon as the hypnosis was over, nobody else wanted to volunteer.
Huh.
I worked so hard in my show to make everybody feel comfortable and empowered, and make sure nobody's ever embarrassed. And I broke that trust with hypnosis. I've been to hypnosis shows. I know people that do hypnosis shows. They are fun. They are 100% worth booking. It is not what I do. And I think when you incorporate it into another element as an element of your show, for me, not for everybody, it breaks a little bit of that trust with the audience that I'm not going to embarrass them. Nobody in my show should ever feel bad or feel like they're being laughed at, even if they want it.
I think that's super important, especially just to keep that kind of a positive, energetic, vibe with that.
I mean, I could be a jerk and I can roll my eyes and I can go, oh, geez, there, I love the line, oh, geez, there's one in every group. Who invited this guy? I can do that.
Yes.
Because they know it's in good fun. They can see that I'm laughing at my own comment. But if I bring you up here and I put you under a hypnotic spell, if you will, and you start clucking like a chicken and everybody's laughing at you, the person's, you're sitting there laughing at someone going, I'm not getting up there. I'm not going to do that. And now I've lost you.
Yeah.
I've lost the ability, because now if you do come on the stage, you're resisting.
Interesting. You're right about that. You're right. So let me get into the first question. If you could go, we didn't really talk about your life too much.
Wait, we're just starting?
Yeah, that's not the questions. Yeah, my first question is, if you could, we didn't really talk about your childhood, but if you could go back to little Michael, right? Little young Michael, at some point in your life when you needed it, what would you go back to say to him?
That's a great question.
Does anything come to your mind?
Yeah. I've always been a don't sweat the small stuff kind of person. I wish it wouldn't be little Michael. It'd actually be like right after college Michael.
All right, cool. Right after college Michael.
It would be have confidence in yourself. It would be stop looking for, and this goes back to what we talked about earlier. It's important to have the support and the approval of the people you work for. But stop trying to search for it. Stop trying to base my career. When I worked in television, I was always trying to get my boss to approve of what I was doing, to tell me my idea was good, or to push my show forward. And I feel like part of my failure in the television world was trying to be liked and trying to get support. And if I had just kind of had more self-assurance in my abilities as a producer or a creator of television shows, I would have been much more successful. That's why I'm successful in the magic world. I show up and I say, hey, here's a great show. Watch it. People go, oh, it's a great show. Okay. As opposed to, oh, hey, I have a magic show. I'd love for you to, what do you think? Is it good? Should I make changes?
So it's just about that mind, like grabbing your work, your art, your creation, and basically like you're either going to like it or you're not. And allowing yourself.
You still want, people still have the ability to give their notes and their commentary. I don't think it's you either like it or you don't. I think it's, I'm giving this to you and it's pretty and it's good, and you can either have it or not.
I like that.
You can like it or not. You can either have it or not. Not everybody is going to like my show.
Yeah.
That's just life. There are people that don't like magic, but every single person will be entertained.
I love that. I love that. Now, how, for anyone, myself included, right? I do a lot on TikTok and a lot of like impersonate and like funny videos and stuff. But for people that are really putting themselves out there on social media right now, creating theirs, how do you handle? Do you just get used to it, like the negative feedback or the comments like you're stupid, or do you
just turn off comments?
I like that. Okay, yeah, that's.
My shows are for select groups at a time. So, other than my friends and family show tomorrow, which is free. All I want is a smile in return. But if you can, because not everybody can right now, but if you can contribute, I have links saying, here's my PayPal, here's my Venmo. Pay what you can. And some people can pay with a smile and some people can pay a couple $100. I mean, God bless them.
Yeah.
But I don't have comments up. I don't have,
I mean, do you have a YouTube and stuff? Do you get that? Do you put your stuff on YouTube?
I have a YouTube, but it's just for promos.
Okay.
I don't.
So you're not really in the way to get negative feedback too much.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of exclusivity. If you want to see my show, you have to pay for it.
Nice.
Other than tomorrow. If I did a show in New York off Broadway, which I did, called The Extraordinary Deceptions, you had to buy a ticket.
Yeah.
I didn't give it away. I may have done a promo piece. I may have went on the news and did a magic trick, but I didn't do a show. I think right now, it goes back to your purpose in the universe and taking advantage. There's a tremendous amount of people giving away free content.
Yeah.
And that's great. You're giving away free content, in essence.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. That's wonderful. What a gift to the world. But when you offer free content without value, so if you had done this show, just you talking every week, not bringing on different guests, you're not offering anything different. You're offering yourself.
Just me.
But by bringing on guests, you're bringing value, content. I see a tremendous amount of entertainers every single day giving away free stuff. Hey, I'm going to do a concert. Hey, I'm going to tell jokes. Hey, I'm going to do magic tricks. Hey, I'm going to do whatever. And at a certain point, it doesn't have value. There's nothing special about it. You know, it's kind of like binging shows on Netflix or whatever the streaming channel is. When everything goes up at once and you watch it all in one sitting, you watch 13 hours of television in one night. It's great and it's fun. And look at what we did. But then it's over. I'll come back in a year when it comes back, or I'll never watch it again. Oh boy, I can't believe I did all of that. But if this is your one opportunity, if this is a live special, not to be repeated, or this is the show that you guys booked for your Kiwanis Club or your mom's group or your book club or whatever it is, and this is our one time to get it, all of a sudden that moment has value, whether or not you've paid for it. It has value. It has importance. That's why live theater is important. That's why network television, where something happens at a very specific moment, is important. All those kind of, sports events. I'm not a sports person, but I love the fact that this happens right now. You have to be in the moment to let it happen, whether you're on TV or at home. That's why people watch sports live. They don't, the repeats don't really get a lot of viewing.
They don't. Do you have any Mitches in your family? Mitch?
No, not one.
I don't know. This name Mitch just keeps, when I'm looking at you, I just keep like seeing this name Mitch. Maybe it was like maybe it was like a past name in your past life or something. I don't know why. Mitch.
Got a few bitches. But
No. Now, my final question is, what piece of advice do you want to leave for our listening audience? Okay. People all over listening right now in these times, and what do you have to say?
The first thing I'm going to say is, if you lost your job, if you're experiencing loss of any sort other than death, it's not because of you. It's because of the situation, and it's temporary. Hopefully everything you'll get your job back, but don't take it personally. This is, I know I talked about the narcissistic side of the universe. This is not the universe conspiring against you.
It's not.
And once you can get over that personal offense, once you can realize that the coronavirus did not make you, you didn't lose your job. Your job stopped because of what's going on in the world. You're able to pick up the pieces and live a better life. It's okay to be extravagant at times. I bought wine recently, and
I love hearing that.
I spent more money on wine than I ever had before, and I also bought good wine. I didn't buy $10 bottles. I bought $50, $60 bottles, and it was kind of like, well, what are you doing? You don't know when your next paycheck's coming in. You got to live.
Got to live. Yes.
I wouldn't recommend going into debt. Don't spend more than you can, but
enjoy a little.
Times, enjoy life. You didn't get fired. Your job stopped because of what's happening in the world. And again, change your outlook, change your way of thinking. The second piece of advice is to do not be over. I can say this, but it's hard to implement in other people. It's so easy to be overwhelmed by the lack of control around us. You can't control when the economy opens. You can't control what the politicians are doing. That sucks. That weighs on you. You're watching the news, blue or red, doesn't matter. You're watching the news and you want to yell at them and say, "What are you doing?" And finding a personal way to deal with that loss of control. This might last longer than any of us can imagine.
I know.
This may not. The whole is never going to go back. It will go back to normal. Life goes back to normal.
It always does.
Went back to normal after the Spanish flu. Went back to normal after World War II. I mean, it just takes time. But the BS of life will never. We're a forgetful people.
We are, and we do.
Trust me, people are going to be. I mean, with these protests and people wanting to get back to normal. Trust me, restaurants, bar, everything's going to be packed in, and we are going to be out in masses as soon as we can.
Yes.
All right. It's a month. It's 2 months. It's 3 months. It's okay. People have gone through worse, and you know what? That doesn't make your experience better. So that's not an argument I want to hear. I don't want someone to tell me about Anne Frank in the attic. That didn't end well. So, I mean, not making a joke of it.
Yeah.
It didn't end well. This is going to end well.
It is going to end well.
We are not Anne Frank in the attic. We are not hiding from Nazis. That is a bad analogy. We are preserving our health and our safety and those around us. And we're making a little personal sacrifice so that the world can go on.
It is really a small sacrifice for all of us to stay. People are being ridiculous, but it is in comparison, what you said to the world, it's a very small sacrifice.
And what are we? I was born for quarantine. If I'm not on the road, I sit at home and don't leave the house for weeks on it. So this is nothing. I'm loving this. This is normal life for me. I just don't feel bad for not leaving the house. But something to think about is people are saying, "Oh my God, I need to get out." What are you missing?
Yeah, what are you missing?
Going out. You're missing going out to dinner. Okay, you're missing, but maybe going to the movies. You're missing hanging out with friends. You're missing, your life hasn't changed as much as you think it has.
No.
Change your outlook. Change your way of viewing things. Change your way of feeling bad. It still sucks. This is not a half glass full kind of thing. It still sucks what's going on. I would love more than anything. I haven't had sushi in 2 months. Give me a break. I live in LA. But
I was just so hungry for sushi.
Anything I can't heat up, I'm not eating. I don't know what's on that box. But all right, I really can't wait for sushi. Wow, isn't that fun? I haven't had that experience in a while. I haven't been on an airplane. I travel 50 weeks out of the year. I haven't been on an airplane in 2 months.
Wow.
Okay. Moving on. So these people who are saying the economy needs to open, you're right. It is a hardship. It is terrible. But I would never put someone's life, personally, I would never put someone else's life so that I can make money. I'm willing to have a little less so that all of us can have more in terms of time on this earth.
Yes.
I think that the people who are there are some people that are going to close their blinds and be in depression, and that's life. Depression is a horrible, horrible burden to bear. this advice is not for them. That's a state of emotion that you unfortunately have to give it the time to get through.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the people that are sitting here going, I need to get out and go for a walk.
Go for it. Yes.
Wear a mask, shower and wash your hands, but enjoy the difference as opposed to be annoyed by it.
Yeah, and I think so many people are having trouble. This is the first time. I mean, yes, we still have our distractions inside, but they're like left with themselves essentially without, being able to identify outside themselves with all these other things, the gym, relationships, whatever it is.
And if you are craving interpersonal relationships, I think the coolest thing that has come out of all of this, and very few people are talking about, is that we are reconnecting with people who we haven't connected with in so long. I have on Monday a Zoom group chat, I guess it's called, I don't know, a Zoom meeting with my college classmates, who some of them I haven't literally spoken to or seen since graduation day.
How amazing is that?
And someone put up a thing and he was like, hey, why don't we all get together on Zoom and just kind of chill out for an hour, have a cocktail hour. How fun will that be? I was like, oh my God, like, I've been picking up and sending emails and being like, hey, just check. I haven't spoken to you in a year. How's it going? So embrace that. Embrace, we are connecting with people we haven't connected with in a long time. People are reaching out. People are being very generous. I mean, I'm doing this friends and family show, and parents of friends and people are donating. I mean, they're paying their fair share, but like I get emails and you've received payment, and I'm going, oh, hello, so and so. Not from the Dixon family, but other people.
We'll be next. I'll make sure Ryan still owes me.
I'm not holding my breath. I have to pay Ryan.
I was gonna say if you know him.
I have to pay him to watch the show. So, but I will say this. I hope he's listening, because
he will.
You should be very proud of him. He is an incredibly talented. He works as a consultant. He works as a writer. He works as a director. And everything that he does, he adds value.
Oh, he's like my biggest. I'm so proud of him, and he's been one of my biggest heroes, everything in this world. And plus, doing this is the only time he'll ever actually talk to me and answer his phone. So
I know. Can I tell before we end? Can I tell an embarrassing story about it?
I would love it.
Excellent. So Ryan calls me up and he goes, so I'm supposed to go to a wedding of this person I used to work for. It's a
wait, real quick.
Wedding.
Just want to tie back. We're talking about my brother for everyone listening.
Oh, yeah. Ryan Dixon. Fabulous. If you want to look him up, Ryan Dixon is a fabulous, he will make whatever your business is better. He's a phenomenal consultant. Even if he is not knowledgeable in what you do, he will pretend to be and offer value to your business. So hire him as a consultant. But he's a phenomenal director, writer.
So many
he helps people become. I mean, I think he's very funny, and he helps comedy acts, and it's just incredible. And he's helped my show in multiple versions of it. So all for a fee, but he's definitely worth the money that he charges. So. Ryan, he wasn't married to his beautiful wife Camille yet, and this was many years ago. And he calls me up and he goes, "Magic Michael, I was invited to a wedding. It's going to be an industry wedding. A lot of Hollywood types there. It's in San Diego. Do you want to come with me as my date? My date, she can't go, or I guess he didn't have a dater. So I said, sure, I'll be your date. So he goes, you need to make sure nobody thinks we're together. I don't want to miss out on some girls.
I don't want to
think that you're my date. So I said, not a problem, Ryan. I'll make sure everybody knows that we are not together and that you are stag in essence. So we show up at this wedding, and it is an intimate affair.
Really?
It is tiny. So the bride is walking down the aisle, and she literally looks at me and is like, "Who is this person at my wedding?" And I'm like, "Oh, hi, I'm Magic Michael." She goes, "Oh, you're the magician.
You're the magician.
I've met you before." Oh my God! So I'm looking at like the person sitting next to Ryan, and I'm going, He's not with me. He's available tonight.
Available.
So we had a phenomenal time. I ended up doing a little they were big fans of Arrested Development, so I did like a Job magic act where like I turned
that's
into 100 pennies, theme of the final countdown. And Ryan had a little too much to drink.
Oh, him never.
And I walked him back to the room, and as he's screaming at the top of his lungs Shakespeare lines, which I guess he does when he gets drunk.
Yeah.
And I mean, I thought he was blacked out drunk, but I go to put him in the bed, and you know, I'm a decent guy. I have no ill intentions, and I go, okay, let me take off your shoes and tuck you in. And I take off his shoes, and he goes, "Magic Michael, get your hands off of me!" In complete sobriety.
Magic Michael, get your hands off of me.
I said, I'm just trying to tuck you in. He goes, "Get your hands off of me. I'm fine. I'll go to bed like this." I said, "Oh boy, yeah, get over it, buddy. I don't like you that much.
I don't like you that." That is really funny.
He is. That was one of my favorite.
Thank you for sharing that, because I love hearing stories about my brother. Anything.
Oh my God, I'm one of his biggest fans. I think he is just such a funny, happy, fun, loving person who's genuine. I think, and you see that in his wife Camille. I mean, and their daughter. I mean, they are genuine. I assume all the Dixons are. Genuine, honest people. I
think it's where we grew up. It's our roots. It's the country. It's like our family. So they're just very genuine, accepting of who we are, accepting of others, and like we're very real. You get who we are in the first second.
Yeah, but I also think it's whether it's you as working with hair or him in the arts and helping people's businesses become better or better artists, whatever. It's knowing that you have something to share. Something Ryan and I talked about was finding your place in whatever industry you're in.
Yeah.
And something that I experienced was the almost embarrassment of not doing what you thought you were going to do in college, right?
Wow.
So I thought I was going to be a big TV director. I was going to direct live television or something. And when that didn't happen, I went into producing. And then 4 years ago, when I left television to become a full-time mentalist and magician, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed that I, in essence, failed at what I was supposed to be doing. Oh, how embarrassing. And it took me a long time to go, oh, no, this is what I was supposed to be doing. Like, I couldn't be here if I didn't do all of that.
Yeah.
And, Ryan, who is still directing, who is still writing, who is still doing other stuff, is a great example of finding your place. He realized, I guess, that he has more to offer than directing and writing. He has the ability to help other people make their acts and their shows and their scripts or their businesses better. Not because of his expertise in what they're doing, and in my case it was magic, but because of his expertise and his ability to read the room and offer insight. And that's his talent. That's his ability to, he found his purpose, his greater purpose. And for him, it was consulting other people's businesses. You found yours by offering this podcast. This isn't cutting hair. This is completely different.
It's been my dream.
You found that greater purpose, that dream of being the talk show host that you said you wanted to be. And I listened to the other podcast. And we all need to, and this is a great time to listen to ourselves and find out what we can be. It doesn't mean you have to stop being what you are. It's an addition. It's an add-on. There's no limit to what we can be or how we can improve and enhance ourselves. And this is a time where we can step back and say, what can I add to the portfolio that is me? And the Dixon family are great examples in how to do that successfully.
Aw, thank you. And thank you, Michael. This has been a really amazing interview. And I know it's going to really help take people out when they listen to it, take them out of that hour, right? Kind of like a magic show, just with your talking, right? And just help take people out. Absolutely. And if they want to book me for a party for their friends and a Zoom party, they can go to The Magic Mentalist, www.themagicmentalist.com.
they can find all my contact information there. I also do obviously corporate events, private parties, and all that kind of stuff. So
awesome.
Pretty well.
Thank you again. Thank you for taking your time from LA. I hope that this helps find everyone in a good mindset. You can find him on my Instagram at thehairhealer1111. If anyone has any questions or wants to make any comments, please feel free to email me, thehairhealerpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you, everyone. Have a fabulous weekend and love you all.